All right, welcome to another day in the life of, what the hell is Melt doing today? All right, a lot of you guys have been wondering, what has Melt been up to? Why isn't he playing Ark of War? Well, I've told a few people, but I moved and I bought a couple businesses and I started building. And part of that is working on rental houses. So today, we have got a storm coming. And one of the tenants called me last night and said that their roof is leaking like crazy. So I went out to look at the roof this morning and I realized that even though we winterized all the roofs back in August, this roof got ignored. I don't know if it was me who missed it, but there is like quarter-sized holes through the composite shingles, through the tar paper. The water's literally just running down into the ceiling of the house. Luckily it hasn't been so bad, but we're gonna have to replace some drywall in that room. But today, I started at 9. Right now it's 12:30, and I've got a guy out there pulling the roof off, and I've got my brother here who's kind of jumped in to give us a hand. Fortunately, this house is only just a couple blocks away from me, so I'm able to run to the yard, the trucks, everything, all my tools are available to me. So I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride, show you what this looks like, and how to do a re-roof in 6 hours. Here we go. Let's go up. So here's what the roof looks like. It's like a 3-section roof. You can tell first section was done, re-roofed with the second layer. The second part seems to have been ignored, and they went ahead and did the third part. Now I think the reason they did first and third and not the second was because there was a solar panel array that was used to just capture sun heat, run it through pipes, and run it down to the water just to save on gas or propane depending on how you heat your water. So that's already been tore off in the last hour or so. Fortunately for us, they had already disconnected the plumbing there, so all we really have to contend with is this little hole here and a couple other ones. You can tell there's brass plates here, and that's just where previous holes were done. And when you have a roof, you don't want any holes on it in case someone's stepping on it and they fall through. Question messes the integrity of the roof. But our flashing's cleared out. Barry, that looks fucking awesome.
Thanks.
And we got a little bit more on the side, but there was another hole here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. So we're pulling this last one up, and we're just gonna put a plate right over it. And then our drip edge is already in, which makes it easy. So we're just gonna clear up this edge here and throw the paper down, throw a roof on, put a new cap on it. We are gonna have to redo this roof over here. I'd like to do it today, but seems like the storm is gonna decide that for us. So most importantly, we need to get a roof on this so it doesn't leak. At least this side isn't known to be leaking, but it's the same exact age as this side, but this is the south facing, and we're in the northern hemisphere, so the sun hits this part of the roof way worse than it hits this part of the roof. You can kind of see if you look at this roof here, it's doing much better than this backside here, and they're the same age. And that's kind of what was happening over here. So, all right, let's get to it. We're at the point now where we're making our book. So we're gonna do them a little bit fat because this side of the roof does get a bit more wind. And we're gonna be starting with the full shingle on the bottom because our starter piece is this rolled stuff. I wouldn't say it's a new product, but it's not the way we used to do it. There's our roll here. So our starter kind of looks like this. And you just roll it out, sticks down, and that acts as your first shingle so you can have a bigger piece to start your book. So we're rolling out the tar paper now. We're gonna leave about 1/4 to 1/2 inch overlap over the drip edge. Jared, that's not enough overlap.
No.
You see the drip edge?
Put it down there.
The whole thing's gotta come up. All right, so we got to a junction that needs to be addressed. These aren't problems you have on new roofs. This is when you're replacing an old roof, and normally you just go over the first layer shingles, but in this case the first layer was so bad that when they did the second layer on this side of the roof and not this side, We had to demo this roof because it was kind of bubbling up and the paper underneath was missing. So this is kind of what it looked like on the back, but even worse. So when we tore it all up, now our roof height is different. You see, we have like a full, probably inch there. So the new layer can't really go over the old layer. It'd be too big of a gap here. It would just get destroyed over time. So we're actually having to slide under here about 2 inches and hoping that's gonna do it. 2 inches or more wherever we can. But yeah, we got our first starter strip on, and we'll carry that on as time goes on. So I need an air compressor.
What's wrong with this?
The air compressor fell off the roof, and it runs and there's no leaks, but it's not compressing the tank. And we've got just the first row, and we're ready to throw this whole roof on, and we don't have an air compressor. Harbor Freight, one time falls off the roof.
I didn't move it. I just put the hose on it, and
it fell off earlier.
I did connect the hose, but I didn't move it.
No, it fell off the roof earlier. But now we are a couple hours away from the storm, and we don't have an air compressor. We got to call in a favor. Yeah. All right, the adventure continues. We have a replacement air compressor. Now we just need to power it up, put the rest of the felt on, and finish what we started. We're not getting tarps. We're finishing it today. Right? All right. We'll catch up with you when we're making progress. So we got the rest of the materials we needed, and a working air compressor, and
Pow, pow, pow.
Pow, pow, pow. Yeah. So we got the hardest part done. The book is made. The roof is prepped. Now we're just throwing the rest of the felt on there, and then we're gonna run the shingles all the way up. Alright, so here's an update. I stopped doing the time lapse because it was eating up the batteries, and we've only got half a battery left out of the 2 we started with, so we're learning as we go. We are about halfway up the roof now, and we ran out of nails, so we had to run to the store to get nails. Thank goodness they had it. My brother is now done for the day, so it's just me and Jared getting after it. And Trey's here, so we're loading up all the trash, and the storm is still a ways out. My weather report is saying that the storm is supposed to come in at 6. The Apple's weather store is saying or the weather report is saying it's coming in the next hour. So you can see the bottom of the clouds though, they're not very dark, so it's not a lot of moisture in them. So we're probably gonna be able to get this done, but I hope those aren't famous last words. Oh, I forgot to show you guys our new case of nails that just showed up. And we had a nice little nail jam, but just bashed it through and got it out in less than a minute, so that was nice. But isn't that pretty? Woo. Stack them up, palm them, back to the roof. That nail gun's giving me all kinds of trouble. I think I need to oil it. All right, here's where we're at. We've got, that's the rest of the debris that's still got to come off. Here's the debris that's been loaded up. We still got a bag of shingles there, and one bag there. I think we got barely enough shingles. I mean, we got more back at the yard. That's the nice thing about this, right? Is nice. Now you'll notice that the color doesn't match, but we didn't have a choice, right? The only place to get it was an hour away. And the storm's coming. Now that is starting to look like a storm. Yeah. Yeah. So, man, it's coming quick too, Jared.
Yeah, it is. It's coming quick.
Okay, I was just about to. I turned the camera on to be like, yeah, we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, now we're gonna be down to the wire here. I was making this video thinking, God, this might be about, you know, beating the storm, but it was gonna turn out that we were gonna be just fine. But I'm thinking now we're in trouble. Sun's getting low in the sky, and we are on the last bit, just the ridge cap now. We had to get creative because we only did half the roof, and this is a terrible ridge cap. It's not even a proper ridge. It's just one of the old 3-tabs cut into sections and then folded over each other. And what I'm gonna do is basically do the same thing. I'm gonna peel back what I have to, but since this is the only shingle I could get in a pinch, slightly different color, it's gonna look a little funny from the street because, you know, we only did that half of the roof, but the storm's coming. So it'll hold over until I finish this side of the roof. But realistically, this is a rental house, so, you know, cosmetically, it's not that important. Functionally is more important. And when the day comes to sell this house, this place needs a re-roof anyway. The problem is these 3-tabs, they don't make them anymore. These are outdated, 20 years old. You can still get the Oak Ridge Desert Tan down at the Home Depot here in California, but that 3-tab stuff, that's all you can get is the Desert Tan. You can't get it anywhere else. I've tried online. All you can ever find is the 3-tab Desert and none of this Shasta White. But that's where we're at now. We just got to run the rest of the ridge cap, and we're not going to go for too pretty. We're just going to make it functional and hope it survives the storm. And then right now it's about 4 o'clock. And 4:46. 4:40. Well, I'm happy to report we finished the roof. Well, at least we're on the last leg of it. Right now we're just cutting these shingles into thirds, and this video is probably going to be really dark because the sun is gone. Luckily the storm never came, but right now we're just cutting the shingles in thirds and doing the ridge cap like this. Just one half shingle here, or third shingle there, 4 nails, and then carrying it through. And that nail's no good, that's got to be repinned. But it's kind of a mess. I mean, ultimately this roof's going to have to be redone, so we're going to be pulling that top cap off, but it'll get us through the storm. So let's see what the final product looks like. This was about a 4 to 6 hour job chasing a storm, and ultimately I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I obviously would like to come in and re-roof this side, and of course this front side. And obviously the color doesn't match because we didn't have time to go get the right color because we live an hour away from the Home Depot, and the local hardware store didn't have the color either. They're a bit more expensive, so in a pinch we use them. If we can avoid it on a major job, we go down south. Normally we support the local economy because frankly all the friends and people I meet up here either work for that company or have family that work for that company. Small town vibes. But I hope you enjoyed this little half day roof project before a storm. All right guys, we'll see you on the next one.